Everyone, I don't normally do videos on a Sunday morning because normally I would be in church right now, but I am home with a sick kid and I just picked up some food to take home to the actually two sick kids. So I am recording a video right now for that reason. But again, normally I try not to do videos or anything on Sunday morning because I'm at church and Sunday school all Sunday morning. Um, and if you're not, I would invite you to go to church and go to Sunday school. But anyway, question. What do I say to people who say that Bitcoin sounds too good to be true? You just put in money and watch it magically grow. A couple things. One, that is how all investments work. So the closest thing to Bitcoin would be an investment in an S&P 500 index fund, for example, which is just an index fund of the 500 largest publicly traded companies in the United States. Now, it's going to have lower volatility than Bitcoin, but also much lower reward than Bitcoin. But if you leave, your money in long enough, you'll average 7% a year or 8% a year, something like that, which is about the rate at which the government prints money. So in some ways, you're not really gaining any faster than the money printing, but it can feel like, well, the money, it just magically goes up. So the first thing I would say is all investing works that way. All investing works where you put the money in and then it magically grows over time with some caveats. First of all, you have to put up with the volatility. So on the S&P 500, every 10 years or so, you're going to get a big recession. And you've got to be willing to, live through that big recession. In the case of Bitcoin, the upside is much, much, much higher than the S&P 500. I mean, just radically more upside, but you're going to get a downturn about every 4 years so far. The down years in the last 16 years for Bitcoin have been 2014, 2018, 2022, and probably 2026. And for reasons I've explained in other videos. So typically you get these bull markets that, kick off with the Bitcoin halving, which is the year of the presidential election. And then you get a huge run up the following year. And then it corrects the following year and starts to recover, the next year. And then it goes to the halving again. It does it all again. So it's 3 up years and 1 down year. So with Bitcoin, if the very first Bitcoin you've bought is this year, it's easy to think, well, it basically never goes down. Well, first of all, if you bought Bitcoin this year, you've probably been through at least a 27% downturn. So it's not like some magic money thing because you're having to stomach a 27% downturn, watching 27% of the value of your Bitcoin go away and then come back, right? Within a series of days or weeks or months, it's back to a price that's higher than you paid for it, but you got to stomach that volatility. So, what do I say to people who say it's too good to be true? You put money in and it magically grows. First of all, you had to earn that money. So this is not some get rich quick scheme that you get assets or resources you don't already have. Every single dollar that you use to buy Bitcoin, you had to work hard for. All you're doing with Bitcoin is you're just deciding that you're going to save that capital and let it grow in something that is more valuable than the US dollar or more valuable than the stock market. So number one, you had to earn the number one thing I would say to somebody who says this sounds too good to be true is you had to earn every single dollar that you used to buy Bitcoin. So that's number one. Number two, every investment works that way where you put money in and then it grows without you doing anything. The difference being Bitcoin's upside is just much higher than more all investments, and but then on the downside, you're getting a price correction on average, a big one every 4 years, and small ones of, 20 or 30% on a pretty regular basis every few months, or, yeah, typically probably every few months. And then you're getting a big price correction bigger than 20 or 30% every 4 years or so. But again, if all you do is you just hold on to it, then it doesn't matter. And if you're buying more Bitcoin all the way through the price correction, then obviously, you're even in a better spot because as the price comes back from a big price correction, then you have a lot more Bitcoin than you started with. The last thing I would say to somebody who says, what do you say to people who say it's too good to be true? Is that things that are too good to be true typically have certain characteristics that Bitcoin doesn't have. So typically they're not liquid. Somebody says, hey, give me $10,000 and 18 months from now you get $30,000. Well, it's not liquid. There's no way to get that money for 18 months. And then, of course, in the course of that 18 months, you find out it was a scam and the whole thing fell apart and nobody's getting their money back. So Bitcoin's not like that. Bitcoin trades 24/7. At any point on Coinbase, you can go watch the price change. Like every few seconds, the price updates to the current price. And at any point, you can get your money out. at whatever the price is. And if you panic and you want your money out when it's down 27%, well, somebody like me is going to be buying your Bitcoin at a 27% discount, but you can sell it at any time. So most scams or things that are too good to be true involve locking your money up and not having access to it. So Bitcoin's not like that. You have access to your Bitcoin anytime you want. Also, they typically involve you sending your Bitcoin to someone in a place where you can't control it, where they say, hey, send me $10,000 and in 18 months, I'll send you, $30,000. But in the meantime, you can't verify that you actually own anything. That's not the case with Bitcoin. With Bitcoin, you can verify that you own the Bitcoin anytime. If you trust Coinbase, you can check your balance on Coinbase. I trust Coinbase. They're a massive publicly traded company. They custody Bitcoin for basically every big investment firm. Like, if you trust JP Morgan or Wells Fargo or any major, too big to fail bank, then that's kind of like trusting Coinbase. It's the too big to fail crypto bank. But if you don't trust Coinbase, get Bitkey, Bitkey, bitkey.world, is their website, bitkey.world. It's made by the company behind Square, which was founded by Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter. He had two companies, Twitter and Square. He sold Twitter to Elon Musk so that he could focus on Square and building out things like Bitkey. Bitkey lets you custody the Bitcoin yourself, which means not only are you not trusting it to Coinbase or somebody else, you can get liquidity, meaning you can sell it anytime you want, and you have it in your possession, where literally nobody else in the world even has access to it other than you. So none of the too good to be true scams work that way. They always involve you locking up money that you don't have liquidity on, which again, Bitcoin, you always have liquidity. And they typically involve you sending it to somebody that's kind of shady, and you own an asset that you're not sure what it is and you're not sure where it is. And Bitcoin's not like that. Bitcoin's on the blockchain. Anytime you want, you can go look at your Bitcoin. If you're sort of technologically savvy, you can physically see your Bitcoin sitting there on the Bitcoin network. It doesn't have your name on it. It just has your number. It's like a Swiss bank account, a Swiss numbered bank account, but you can see exactly what your balance is. And again, you can use something like Bitkey to pull that Bitcoin into self custody where, you don't have to trust anybody. You don't have to trust anybody but yourself. And if it says you own $1,000 of Bitcoin on your Bitkey device, well, that's how much Bitcoin you own. And you're not trusting anybody to tell you that. You're not trusting anybody to custody it for you, et cetera. So it's an investment like other investments. It's similar to investing in all of the technology stocks in the dot-com boom and trusting that the internet was a big deal and that, internet stocks would be a big deal. And if you had done that, you would have lived through the 2000, the dot-com bust of early 2000s, which was similar to the crypto bust of 2022. When Bitcoin went as low as $15,500, that's 15,500, $15,500. So it's up 5x from that. It's up 500% from that. But if you owned Bitcoin before that, you had to live through that. Now we're at record highs. So as long as you held on to it, you were great. And if you were buying more Bitcoin all the way through, like I was, you're even more great because you bought a lot of Bitcoin for a lot of prices that were cheaper than now. And the same thing will be true. If you own a lot of Bitcoin now and your conviction is high, then if the price goes up to $280,000 and then it goes down in 2026 to $140,000, guess what? You can buy Bitcoin all the way through that dip. All the way through that dip, you can be buying more Bitcoin at a discount. And that's what you can do. And now, obviously, you can buy Bitcoin for less than $80,000 right now, 79,600. So obviously it's way better to buy Bitcoin now versus wait till a 2026 dip, because I think in 2026, the dip in 2026 is probably going to land at a lowest price that is higher than today's current price, meaning you're better off buying now versus waiting for a dip in the future that you'll probably never guess the price right. And the best possible price in a future dip is probably still higher than today's price. So anyway, watch this video later. It's Sunday morning. Hopefully you're at church and Sunday school. And again, the only reason I'm not is I'm stuck at home with two sick kids and I'm picking up takeout.